Hey guys, it's Micah here, and today I'll be telling you about the new pedal audio effect in Ableton Live 10. Here's a before and after. Pedal is a guitar distortion effect. You can use it in combination with Live's tuner, amp, and cabinet effects, as it is great for processing guitar sounds. But the pedal can also be used in less conventional settings, such as standalone effects on vocals, synths, or drums. You've got your typical gain controls, you've got your distortion chooser, and then you've got a kind of 3-shelf EQ, bass, mid, and treble, your sub-bass, and your dry-wet knob. Like all the other audio effects, you can bypass it, enable hot swap mode, and save your preset. So let's go into a little bit more detail. The gain control adjusts the amount of distortion applied to the dry signal. Now, 0% doesn't mean zero distortion, so when you are choosing your distortion, I suggest you start with 0% and slowly move up until you get the sound that you're looking for. If you just want to change the volume, I suggest you get a utility audio effect, which is in Ableton Live 10, with some adjustments, I believe, and just put it before the pedal and use the utility's gain parameter to lower the signal even further. Your global output knob adjusts the overall output gain of the device. Now you can choose between 3 different pedal types: overdrive, distortion, and fuzz. Overdrive is warm and smooth, distortion is tight and aggressive, and fuzz is kind of unstable with a broken amp kind of sound. These 3 pedal types are inspired by distortion pedals with their own distinct sonic characteristics. Now, pedal has a 3-band EQ that adjusts the timbre of the sound after the distortion's been applied. The EQ is adaptive, which means that the amount of resonance, or Q, increases as the amount of EQ boost increases. This is how your old analog EQs work. The bass control is a peak EQ with a center frequency of 100 Hz. This is useful for boosting the punch in bass or drum sounds or attenuating low frequencies of guitars. The mid control is a 3-way switchable boosting EQ. This control works in conjunction with this little knob at the bottom, which has 3 settings. The center frequencies for the switch are: at the lowest setting, positioned on the left side, is 500 Hz center frequency. The middle setting, positioned in the center, is 1 kHz, and the highest setting on the right is 2 kHz. The way this mid-frequency control works is that the frequency range around this center value that you've chosen down here is narrower in the lowest switch setting and wider in the highest switch setting. This is common in guitar pedals, where it's normal to make tight cuts and boosts at low frequencies and wider cuts and boosts at higher frequencies. And in case this wasn't clear, the center frequency that I'm talking about here is the middle of the frequency range that this mid control operates on, so either boosts or cuts. Then you've got your treble control, and this is a shelving EQ with a center frequency of 3.3 kHz. This is really useful for removing harsh frequencies or boosting them, if that's your cup of tea. Now, if you want more fine-grained EQ post-distortion, just leave these controls as they are and add EQ 8 afterwards, or another EQ that you're using. For a tutorial on EQ 8, you can check out this tutorial in the iCard. And then we've got this sub switch, which toggles a low shelf filter that boosts frequencies from 250 kHz. You can use this in conjunction with the bass control by turning sub on, like I have here, it's yellow, and setting the bass to minus 100%, or turning sub off and setting the bass to 100%. And the dry wet slider adjusts the balance between the processed and dry signal. So quite a simple yet powerful audio effect. I'm going to give you a few little tips and tricks. First of all, the positioning of this pedal in the device chain is key. By just changing the positioning of this audio effect, you can create some really interesting effects. For instance, adding it before an EQ or after an EQ, before a compressor or after a compressor. The pedal also works really well on certain kick samples with long decays. You can distort the tails, or you can add the kick a bit more whack. And you can also reduce some air by decreasing the treble control. You can use it to add a kind of fizzle to drum loops that you have, or groups of drums. Say this is on a return track and you're routing all your drums to that return track. And you can also make it sound like a broken speaker with the fuzz control. So the options are endless. I hope you have tons of fun with this, and don't forget to use it on things like e-pianos or vocals, or just something maybe a little bit more out of the ordinary. If you want to learn about any of the other audio effects, instruments, or procedures in Ableton Live, you can check out some more of my videos. If you like this video, please hit subscribe or let me know in the comments with the like button, and I will see you soon in the next one.